What did you realize, like what kind of grades do you need to be in a good university?
Um, I think it is not about mostly about credits.
Okay.
It is more about the experience you have in your field, what you have done in your field.
Okay.
Like,
But just after bachelor, like you
yes,
can't do much.
yes,
Okay.
exactly. They look in all these things. They look these things a lot. That's what I've seen. Because my friend, I didn't have very good grades. I would say I had like 75%, and according to German grading system, it was also above 70%.
Okay.
It was written like that. But in order to get a chance, you have to give things like what you have done in your field of study. Like I had a course in robotics. I had given a certificate also in India. I had done all these things. I also I also finished an online course in edX.
Okay.
That was from electronics too, and I was studying electronics.
Okay.
So I already knew these things because I went to the forums in Harvey, and it was written what they look like, what they are looking, not just the grades but also these things.
Okay.
I have seen people getting 80% also and not getting chance in universities. It's because of this.
But I think we skip all of that when we go for the German part. For example, for me, like when I applied for masters, like I also did my B2 in India. I completed till B2. Then I applied for Bauingenieurwesen, like it's a German master course. So there was no drama about grades, nothing. I had 7.43 grade points. But in general, if you're applying for an international program here for a master's course, you need to have somewhere around 8 or above 8. I've seen people with 9.4 grade points and things like that. So I think when you go for the German part, you actually just surpass most of the competition and you don't have to worry about many things. What would you say, Yash?
I have got 72% in 12th. So according to me, the marks doesn't matter, but the language does matter. Like if you don't have language, you are nothing in German.
I also showed a few German certificates, but it was A1. I didn't have a very big knowledge.
These people love their language. If they do know English, they would try to make you speak in German.
Yeah. And I've also seen like if you send an email in English, there are very less chances that you will get a reply back. But if you do it in German, 100% you're getting a reply. I thought, alright, let me apply in English everywhere. Didn't work. I applied in German, then at least I got rejection emails. Otherwise I wasn't even getting that.
Yeah, in Germany, of course, you have to speak and you have to give emails in German. That experience I also got it in a hard way.
Have you been to a job messe, or what do you think? Like, would you like to do a job, or would you like to do a masters?
Like after my bachelor's?
After your bachelor's.
I have not decided anything yet, but most probably I would do an Ausbildung over here. Like you would work as a intern in any of your company, any of the German company, and
you got good money too. Like
no, you won't get as an intern. So you would get.
But you're talking about Ausbildung. In Ausbildung, they give monthly stipends.
That's not as high as compared to the white collar jobs over here. Like the white collar jobs would get 2,500, 2,800 euros per month. You would just get 800, 700 euros, depends on the cut.
No, but this is only for 2 years. I had a friend who was doing Ausbildung as a bus driver. So every month he was getting around 600 euros per month for 2 years of his training. But then afterwards, when his training was done, then he was like getting around 1,500, 1,600. Of course, like you get paid less if you don't do a bachelor. But still, you get paid during like when you're learning.
But I would do Ausbildung as an intern in a company, so that I would gain a bit of work experience. No? For a short period of time, you can visit a particular company and get a certificate. And also, they demand for a 4 practicum, if you have heard about it.
No, I haven't.
4 practicum is the thing which you do before your education or your studium starts. Like
Okay.
for like I want to visit the university and learn Maschinenbau in Germany. So there's a Voraussetzung, like there's a requirement that I need to show a 4 practicums document that I have worked in a particular company for 16 weeks.
Okay.
And this certificate I need to submit before 3rd semester. After 12th standard, the German students do Abitur. And Abitur is like everything what they have learned till today. There would be a last examination called Feststellungsprüfung. They give this exam and they earn a certificate, and there's the title like the person has done his Abitur. And we Indians, after 12th Indians, we start for our bachelor for the first semester, right? After 12th we are starting for bachelors.
Yeah, but we have like these entrances too. A lot of
JEE and everything.
Yeah.
But after JEE we are also doing what? We are starting with the first semester. So there's a difference between the education system, right? They do Abitur, but we don't. So to bring this level up to their level, you need to visit the Studienkolleg, and this is what Studienkolleg is. You are completing your
That's the
Abitur over
same
here.
reason we need to finish 1 year
the first
bachelor's.
year of bachelor's. Okay. All right. Now it's very, very clear.
You need to balance the education system, or else you can go through his way, or you can go through my way, like the Studienkolleg way. But I would recommend the way of Studienkolleg, because if you are going for higher education in German language, like you are going for Maschinenbau, and if you are coming through his way, like I'm visiting 1 year in India, and I would be visiting the first semester. I would start with first semester in Germany. So there's a vocabulary gap between them. Like you won't be able to understand the technical German terms.
Yeah.
What is Studienkolleg? Studienkolleg is basically 11th and 12th together.
Okay.
So like I was really surprised in the first month, like Geschwindigkeit, that's called speed in English.
Yeah.
Beschleunigung, that's called acceleration in English.
Yeah.
So by the time you need to give 2 months in the starting, like in 2 months you can do that, but it's really helpful, like you know how the Germans work, what they need from you, and how would they need the work to be done. Like I perform certain presentations in Studienkolleg, they give us certain field trips, they also give us certain projects, and they teach us how a person could even hold a presentation in front of 100 people. So there's a flow, like they teach you how to be a German student.
Okay.
That's what Studienkolleg.
My first presentation here was like I was standing still, but sometimes I was moving like this, and I was moving like this. And this was because of nervousness.
Yeah.
And I was able to overcome that after a few presentations. But yeah, this happens with every Indian out there. I think this will happen if you come without going through Studienkolleg.
I do agree. Like here, the thing is, when you present anything, when you present something, they would like to hear it. But in our country, it's like, my friend is giving a presentation, like I will harass you in the highest level possible.
Yeah, I understand.
And and what I have found is like what we have learned in India is the same thing what we have learned over here in Germany in Studienkolleg. But the difference is how the things have been taught to you. Here, for the first time, I have seen a radioactive metal through my eyes, because we have performed an experiment in Göttingen in a chemistry and a physics lab. There's a very reputed physics and chemistry lab in Göttingen. So they really did teach everything visually, whereas in India we learn everything from books. Like there's a seriousness developed in you. Like in 12th, when I was in India, I was a really careless person. And now I research the thing up to its depth, and then I proceed to do a certain thing, or then I make a certain decision. In India, like तू engineering ले रहा है, मैं भी तेरे साथ.
That's wonderful to know.
That's what the seriousness is about. When a person is alone, he learns things.
You come in bachelors in English, they will also teach you these things, and there are separate classes for improving your presentation.
Okay.
In my university, there is a teacher who helps for development in personality. If you are having problems standing in front of, suppose, 20 people, in my case it was just 20 people. It took about 2 years.
Okay.
After I started my bachelor's, I was in my first year, but I still gave one more exam, and I completed my third semester. I would say about 2 years, because there was a gap between 12th and like 6 months.
Okay.
So I started preparing after 12th. It took about 2 years.
It was also like for after a year I was in Germany. So for everything, like I learned the language in 8 months, and then I applied for the visa, and I got my visas in March, and I started to learn the language in April.
Okay.
So it was about 1 year till I came here in Germany. Then I started the language again, as I said, like from B1 to C1. So it took another 6 months, and then I got immatriculated for a Studienkolleg.
Okay.
So the complete process was about 18 to 19, like 2 years, most probably. First visa, like the visa that you get on your passport, is valid for 3 months, and it's a student visa. Okay, and there is everything mentioned on that visa, like the person is going for his Studienkolleg and for his particular examination, and after being passed, or after he has cleared the examination, he would be living in Germany. Then after, there's a 16A visa. This is the visa of category 16A.
Okay.
Student visiting visa.
Okay.
And after you get, like, you want to learn the language and you want to apply for Studienkolleg, you have 2 years of time, as I said earlier. So the visa would remain same, but it would be extended for first year. Like.
Okay.
Then after you get immatriculated in a Studienkolleg, you are identified as a student who is who is studying in Germany. Before you were just student visiting Germany.
Okay.
Now you are a student.
Because in student visiting visa, they give you that this guy will learn language, he will complete the necessary requirements to get immatriculated into a university. Because that's what I checked, with a student visiting visa, it's easier somehow to come here, because you have your language school ahead of us. You learn language, and then you can apply for an exam, get immatriculated in a university or a Studienkolleg. And because the same thing works for masters too, I think. The same thing works. Yeah, now I know. Because there were so many students who come with 52% or 60%. I guess how it works for them is to the student visiting visa, then they come here, they apply for a Sprachschule, then they learn German for maybe 9 months or something, then they apply in a university, and then they get admission in a German speaking master's program. Okay. Guys, you don't know how many things got cleared because of this, and it was completely amazing. I didn't know. I met Yash at the airport when we were picking up luggage, and I was meeting Ayan, I guess through Facebook, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't know that they both had different cases. Like Ayan did his first year in Bachelors, and Yash came through a completely different way.